Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sugarman Sports Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey for this rivalry showdown in girls soccer action between the visiting Cliffside Park Red Raiders, 2-7 on the season, taking on the Fort Lee Bridgemen, 4-3 so far in 2024. Hello, everybody, welcome. I'm Dan Long. So glad that you could join us here on our Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel alongside Dimitri Nanis, and this is going to be an opportunity here for Fort Lee to sweep the season series from Cliffside Park. They defeated the Red Raiders earlier this year on September 16th, 2024, on the road, a 4-3 victory against Cliffside. So now Fort Lee has a chance to try to keep pace with a couple other teams in their league and try to secure another league victory here today. Gianna Skirbo is the head coach of Cliffside Park, while Cal Pagano is the head coach here at Fort Lee. It is a beautiful afternoon for soccer, 74 degrees here in early October, feeling more like early September weather this afternoon. Beautiful conditions for this rivalry showdown. Cliffside Park comes into this match having lost their last two consecutive matches and doing so in lopsided fashion, losing against Hackensack 7-0, and then most recently they lost to Dwight Morrow 5-1. So they have only scored once in their last two games, but being outscored by those two opponents 12-1. Fort Lee, on the other hand, is coming in off a loss their last time out against the Cutters of Fairlawn High School 5-0. That snapped a three-game win streak for the Bridgemen, and now has Fort Lee at 4-3 on the season. Last season, Fort Lee had 7-8 overall. They did qualify for the state playoffs. They finished in fourth place in the American Division of the Big North Conference, so they have a chance here to try to stay within striking distance of Dwight Morrow, the defending league champions. Fort Lee will be in their home black kits with orange numbers, and Cliffside Park is going to be wearing their road white uniforms. And it looks like it's pink numerals as it's the month of October and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. These two sides know each other quite well. Last year, Cliffside Park had the lopsided victory coming away here from the Sugarman Sports Complex with a 9-3 victory last October 23rd. So again, Fort Lee won a one-goal matchup the first time around in mid-September and now trying to take both regular season meetings away from the Red Raiders, who are looking for their third win of the season. Fort Lee looking for win number 5. In goal for Fort Lee is Misaki Kasahara. The junior has made 65 saves on the season. She had seven saves in the first meeting, and now over 100 saves in her career, 101. Cliffside Park will be led in goal by Miranda Leon. 72 saves on the season for the junior. She had 8 saves in the loss against Fort Lee back on September 16th. And we are underway here from Fort Lee. Thanks for joining us on this Fort Lee Athletics YouTube broadcast. As Cliffside trying to win back the possession, as Fort Lee now trying to take it with Koretsky. Weaves it up to the far side. Now Fort Lee already with a breakaway chance, and that's going to force Leon to make the save, ranging over to the far side. These Fort Lee broadcasts are brought to you by our proud sponsors, William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and Collective Hair Salon. Beautiful weather conditions for Brandon Ortiz atop the press box as our camera operator here today. I know it can get dicey when you get later and later in the regular season in the fall. especially with the swirling winds, but he's going to be getting to enjoy all of this 74-degree weather here today. Weaving the way through, Velate was trying to lead that pass down that far side. Into the midfield. Played backwards here defensively. Ruka Suzuki tries to win the ball back, but Cliffside Park was already contesting it while they were on the turf and had committed the foul. So a free kick upcoming after Fort Lee had that quick start that was leading to an opportunity in transition. Down the other way, the ball was left behind, and Leon with some precarious defending there had to avoid the collision with one of her backline defenders. And Cliffside Park will take their time to re-trigger the course of play. Getting clipped that time and knocked down the play was Elda Shuki, number 5. She was slow to get to her feet. Going down the other way was Lucia Koretsky. Her through ball going down to the other side. Fort Lee trying to win that one back. There's a shot on target, and that's parried away with a two-hand punch save on that far post side. So Miranda Leon already being asked to make a couple of big saves here in the opening moments. 3 minutes gone by here in the first half. Fort Lee playing an aggressive style early on and getting some good shot opportunities as well. They're trying to get it to Diamond Elias. Number 8, the junior, who was trying to lurk up top. Here she is right now, chested down over to the far side and headed forward by Fort Lee. Contesting defensively. Carol Satouche is trying to bring it down the other way, number 7. Defensively, just playing it safely out of bounds to the far side. Is Fort Lee not taking any chances? So far this season, Fort Lee scoring 20 total goals in 7 games while allowing 25. They were shut out in their last match, 5-0 on the road at Fairlawn. This is an explosive offensive team that averaging just under 3 goals per game this year. And when they can get off to a fast start, that can pay immediate dividends for their side. Madeline Estrada got a piece of it for Cliffside Park, trying to play it out wide to her teammate. Turnover forced here by Cliffside Park. Elias trying to get to it. Onfray was trying to get to it as well for Cliffside Park. That pass from the back line just a little too wide and out of play. Will be a throw-in now here for Fort Lee. As we're closing in on 5 minutes gone by here to scoreless start into this first half. Battle for possession won by the near side here by Angelina Velate. Finding Velate again in the Fort Lee midfield, trying to free Lacey Barrick to the far side. Leon comes off her line and will cut down that opportunity. It was Lacey Barrick who scored a pair of goals against Cliffside Park in the first meeting back in mid-September, who had that great opportunity to start off play here in the opening minute of regulation. Cliffside Park wins possession with a 50-50 ball. Along to the near side. Red Raiders trying to keep it in play, and they do. But momentarily, as it finally trickles out of bounds, last touch off of Cliffside Park will be a throw-in the defensive third here for Fort Lee. Shuki tried to clear it up top, but it was stolen away. And that's forcing Kasahara to range over to her near post side make that opportunity go away for Sarah Zekri Confrey. Confrey, 4 goals, 4 assists for 12 points on the season, number 10 in white and red. Wortley looking for an opening. Ball was left behind. Koretsky getting it up top to Barak. Barak trying to go 1v3. Ball was leaked out to the far side. Nice move that time by Ansley Castro. Koretsky tried to play it to the near side. Good possession here for Velate. Bounced off the ball, and that's going to be ricocheted right to the feet of Cliffside Park. So Fort Lee had possession in the midfield, did not get a shot opportunity that last offensive possession as it goes out of bounds to the near side. Will be a throw-in here for the Bridgemen. Trying to feed Ansley Castro, who we saw earlier in the broadcast this fall, I should say. It feels like spring. Fall had 2 goals in their lopsided 6-0 win against Dumont in league play. Little trouble of clearing out of harm's way behind that back line. The ball is still loose, and it ricochets off a wide open net on the far side. All sorts of trouble going on there between the defense and the goalie led to a wide open net, and Fort Lee is very fortunate that that was not deposited in the back of the wide open net. It ricocheted instead off the far post side. It'll go out for an eventual corner kick for Cliffside Park on the far side. First corner of the game for either team. But again, that was so close to being a 1-0 lead for the visitors, despite Fort Lee having the better of the play to begin this game. The lining service got deflected initially right in the top of the box and is now taken away by Fort Lee, and they try the breakout quickly down the other way. Barak trying to win the foot race off to the near side. She will. She'll send that pass, though, back center to the middle of the field, looking for a teammate. Despite having that opportunity, maybe go one-on-one against Manuela Ramos. She elected instead to be a little unselfish and try to pass it up to a teammate. Throw in now for Fort Lee. Closing in on 10 minutes gone by here in the first half of play. Thanks again for supporting these student athletes from both teams by tuning in here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Koretsky. 4 goals on the season for number 24 in black and orange. Latte. And an assist against Cliffside Park in the earlier meeting this September. On a foul, and that will be a possession upcoming here for Fort Lee. As Shayla Da Silva will trigger the restart here for the Bridgemen. Number 11 throws it into Koretsky. Koretsky close to losing the possession. Knocked back to the defense. Played forward there by Rosen Ria Heinzad, number 21 for Fort Lee. Here's Barak trying to split the double team of defenders. Barak wins the possession in the box. Curling ball, she's fading away. And that'll be easily handled by Miranda Leon. Last win for Cliffside Park on the season came against Dumont 3-2 on September 26. Again, lopsided losses in their last 2 fixtures. Last win for Fort Lee came against Ridgefield Park, a 5-1 win here at home. Here's Koretsky. Good ball. Barak was trying to time it, but the offside flag was up, and that is going to be negating what would have been a nice shot opportunity on target, potentially for Baric, as she had leaked past the back line. But the opportunities are there for the Bridgemen. Again, it was so close a couple of moments ago to possibly have, despite all this good work, a 1-0 lead for Cliffside Park because of the defensive miscue in the back line. Led to a wide open net, and Cliffside Park then rang it off the far right post. Here's another defensive gaffe. And coming out to slide and take away that opportunity is Kasahara. Kasahara recently in the last defeat against Fairlawn had 14 saves in the loss. She had a season-best 19 saves in a game against Riverdale earlier this season in the home opener back on September 12th for Fort Lee. Here's a long ball and staying onside this time. Can Barr get to it before it rolls its way out of bounds? And she does. Saves the possession, plays it backwards for her side. Fort Lee being hounded as they try to keep this possession going backwards. Fort Lee tried to win back the ball and was losing their balance. And Fort Lee has to do a better job of linking up some of these passes in their back line. That's leading to a breakout here. A chip opportunity with the player right in front of the goal. And what a save there by Kasahara. Just got a piece of it. And once again, Cliffside Park is making Fort Lee's defense pay for their bad passes in the back line. That was a golden opportunity with a player wide open in front. Kasahara tried to cut down the angle, stuck out her hand and made the deflection save and then covered it up herself. So both goalies have been on top of their games to begin this fixture here this afternoon. As we're closing in on 14 minutes gone by here in a scoreless first half, and despite the good start to this game for Fort Lee, it's been Cliffside Park who have had the more dangerous offensive opportunities so far in this game. Chip pass again as Fort Lee's defense trying to get it out of harm's way. It's going to be a foul whistled against Cliffside Park, so it's going to be a free kick upcoming now here for Fort Lee. Possession now for the Red Raiders. As they'll throw it back into the course of play. Trying to get it at the feet there of Diana Baquero Diaz. Flicking it forward. Carol Satouche. She has it now, playing it to her teammate. And again, pass not on the mark that time, but the good build-up there by a couple of the forwards are making things very dangerous in the back line now defensively for Fort Lee. Again, Fort Lee needs some help in their back line. Cliffside Park is really administering a lot of pressure. And Fort Lee's feeling that pressure right now and just skewers it out of play to the near side. It's going to be a throw-in here for the Red Raiders. They're sensing that maybe they can have enough to secure that opening goal and take the opening lead of this game. Under 24 and a half minutes left to go here before halftime. Stolen away, shot from distance, and there's the opening goal. It felt like it was a matter of time. Cliffside Park has had the better of the offensive opportunities, and that was a beautiful strike and finish by Sarah Zakri Confrey. She had a goal and an assist against Fort Lee back on September 16th, and she finds that one in the upper right-hand corner for her 5th goal of the season. And Cliffside Park has staked themselves out to that early 1-0 lead. Last couple of minutes, this field has tilted quickly in the direction of Cliffside Park. So for a team that scored only once in their last 2 combined games and were outscored by a margin of 12-1, they've gotten on the board here first. Fort Lee had the better start to this game, but since that early 5-minute stretch to begin the contest, it's been Cliffside Park the better team. And they get rewarded there with a beautiful finish from their senior captain. Trying to find Baric, but that pass just a little too far ahead of her. And it had a little too much mustard on it with the pass attempt as that goes out of bounds for a goal kick. At times in this first half, Fort Lee has held possession. They have not generated that many dangerous scoring opportunities despite the possession. They've not been able to link up consistent and consecutive passes together. Castro got it stolen away. Suzuki. Long ball down to the near side. Koretsky as Leon has to backtrack, and Koretsky tried to do almost a one-timer shot. Had a lot more time than maybe she thought she did. Kind of turned into a fadeaway shot that didn't finish on target and will go out for a goal kick as Cliffside Park makes a couple of changes. We've seen that a couple times with their advances into the offensive end, that Fort Lee has been rushing it a little too much. They have a little more time to dribble closer and take closer shots that would lead to more accurate shots on target as well. Coach Pagano trying to look for a response from his team. Down 1-0 as we are closing in on the midway point of the first half of play. Fort Lee trying to win both regular season matchups against Cliffside Park. A win would move them to 5-3 on the season. Cliffside Park 2-7, looking for what would be their first win in a couple of games and their third overall win on the season. Throw it to the far side, headed away. Fort Lee again taking no chances defensively whenever they have the ball deep in their own end inside the 10-yard line. They've just been quick to clear it out to the far sideline. Chip forward by the Red Raiders. Collision ensues, and after that pinball affair, it eventually finds its way to Kasahara. Vaquero Diaz trying to find to the near side, played forward by Allison Catalan. Once again, skewered away out of bounds on the near sideline this time by Suzuki in the defense. Throw in now for Cliffside Park, trying to double their advantage here. Just under the midway point of the first half. Finds its way. Curling ball went a little too far outside to the far side after Satouche was trying to find the second goal of the game for Cliffside Park. Again, we'd like to thank our proud sponsors of Fort Lee Athletics here on YouTube. William T. Birch Children's Fund, the Sedona Tap House, Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and the Collective Hair Salon. Taken on a bounce by Leon. Drop kicked away. Played forward. Confry. As that is a corner earned by Cliffside Park. Once again, putting the pressure on the Fort Lee defense. Has led to numerous opportunities at set pieces so far in this first half. Cliffside Park's 2 wins this season have come in American Divisional play. 3-2 against Ridgefield Park, 3-2 against Dumont. Outside of those 2 one-goal wins, they've had lopsided losses. Trying to build the program up. To the top of the box, Fort Lee tries to get to it and break out the other way in transition. Here's the counterattack by Koretsky. Koretsky gets by the initial defender. Centering ball in the middle of the field. Velate couldn't get to it, but instead stepping up is Castro. Castro will run with it to the far side, bodied off the ball. Cliffside Park tries to get to it, but Castro knocks down the clearing attempt. Still in play in the far side wing. Castro will get it knocked off of the defender last, so it's going to be a throw-in earn for her team on the far side. 17-15 and counting left to go here in the first half. Fort Lee trailing by 1. Velate doing a good job of dribbling in traffic. Slow roller pass to the near side, but no real advance up the field for Fort Lee. They're going to say, though, it was last touched by Cliffside Park, so that's going to earn Fort Lee what should be their first corner of the game. Fort Lee will take the corner from the near side corner flag. Low-liner delivery in the middle of the offensive box. Koretsky again playing it wide to the near side. Velate, hard liner, deflected off of Baric in front. Koretsky finding Baric. Baric turns, takes the shot, and scores! Fort Lee gets on the board. Consistent pressure displayed by the Bridgemen inside the offensive end, and it led to a beautiful one-timer deflection goal by Lacey Baric. Right in front of the middle of the net. It looked like she kind of turned and fired blindly. She knew where she was, and I thought maybe that would have been another case where Fort Lee kind of rushed things and they had a little more time than they thought. But it actually worked out perfectly for them. In the one fell swoop, Baric was able to get it past Leon, and this game is knotted up at 1-1 with 16:23 left to go in the first half. Lacey Baric, now her team leading 6th goal of the season. 6 goals, 1 assist for now 13 points for the senior. And Fort Lee responds after they surrender the first goal of the game with getting the equalizing goal here on the board. Throw-in will happen for Fort Lee just in front of the Cliffside Park bench. Again, as you could tell on your screen, a beautiful afternoon for soccer here in the beginning stages of the month of October. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Brandon Ortiz, glad that you could join our broadcast coverage of Fort Lee girls soccer action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Fort Lee 2-1 at the Sugarman Sports Complex this season. Looking for their 3rd win. Defeated Dumont 6-0. Defeated Ridgefield Park 5-1. Now leveled up 1-1 with Cliffside Park, their arch rival. Good decisive move there defensively, getting it to Koretsky, who tries the breakout the other way. Her pass was knocked down, though. Long ball leaking down the far side. Here's Baric again in the open field. That first touch, though, might betray her, and it does. Tried to lead herself past that last defender, and in doing so, gave enough time for the goalie, who was playing well off her line and out of her net, to come down and just collect that loose ball without a shot opportunity surrendered. Kasahara. Kasahara was dangerously close there to possibly surrendering an opportunity for Cliffside Park. She looked like she was trying to drop kick it away and lost control of the ball, and it was almost played outside the yellow box. Deflected in front. Here's Barak again. Tries to race it down. She saves it in play. Plays it back up top to the top side, but that goes through the football uprights and not into the back of the soccer net. And that leads to an opportunity wasted here for Fort Lee to maybe garner the lead just before halftime. Subs being made by both teams with under 13 and a half minutes left to go here in the first half of play. 1-1 your score. Cliffside Park got on the board first, courtesy of Sarah Zekri Confry, her 5th goal of the season. Lacey Barak then responded with her 6th goal of the season, and that leveled the score at 1-1. Misplay initially by Kasahara, and again, if she did not cleanly get that one, you had Cliffside Park looming right there for another empty net opportunity. You know, the Bridgemen are going to want to tighten things up defensively when it gets to halftime. Again, having some opportunities, Kasahara playing well out of her net and got a deflection on that. Made the save, but it's almost like sometimes you don't want to be too overly aggressive. That's giving more opportunities when it's really nothing there to present. Leads to a Cliffside Park corner kick taken on the near side, and a chance now for Cliffside Park potentially to retake the lead just before halftime, as we're coming up on under 12 minutes left to go in the first half. Rolled its way to Kasahara, and the junior will make the stop. Red Raiders trying to track down the possession. Velate with a breakout. She's a dazzling dribbler. Can she get past that last defender? She's taking it for a run down the near side. Good defensive work every step of the way by Ramos, the freshman defender for Cliffside Park. Velate still manages to get around her, takes the shot, and Leon is forced to make a diving save. That was a thing of beauty there. Angelina Velate, the junior, just dribbled all around a couple of defenders for Cliffside Park, got inside the box, uncorked that shot attempt, and had it on target, but Leon maybe making her finest save of the game. Ball rolls its way out to the near side. Catalan was trying to get that one down the near side. Deflected. Here's Cliffside Park trying a chip shot goal, but could not get it on cage against Kasahara. Diamond Elias was the one who had that opportunity. She had just flicked it up and over and getting it towards the net. Could have given Cliffside Park back the lead at a 2-1 advantage. Fort Lee clears it out to the near side, tracked down by Cliffside Park, who again won here a season ago by 6 goals, 9-3. Fort Lee won the first meeting at Cliffside Park this season 4-3. Can they find their way to a second victory against the Red Raiders this season? Madeline Estrada, number 12, the sophomore, cleared it out of bounds to the near side just underneath us at the broadcast booth level at the Sugarman Sports Complex. 9 minutes and counting left to go here before halftime. Ricocheted, last touch off of Cliffside Park, last, and will be a throw-in now for Fort Lee. Both teams have been trading possession near midfield, and incredulous was Coach Serbo for Cliffside Park. She did not like that call that Fort Lee was granted back the possession with the throw-in. Can the Bridgemen make the most of this? Work the ball to the near side, Koretsky. Can she track it down? She can before it goes out of bounds. Looks up, tries to launch that one from distance, but there's no chance of it going in. Again, Fort Lee is getting possession sometimes, but I think that they're too quick to try to just launch a shot blindly from that far out. They can get the better opportunities working a little closer to the net. Also, having a couple of other teammates attacking towards the net would give them more options. Played backwards. Koretsky, a little hand fighting, trying to win back possession. 7 minutes left to go here in the first half. Here's Velate to the near side for Koretsky. Koretsky with her head up, takes the low lining shot, and it's a low roller to Leon. Easy pickings for her. Suzuki, hard challenge there, administered by Cliffside Park. Both teams had players hit the deck momentarily. They're both back up on their feet. It's going to be last touch off of Fort Lee. Next contest on the slate of the schedule for Fort Lee is a road game at Dumont. Team that we obviously saw here on the broadcast airwaves, Fort Lee had a good time with. That is a long distance offering that nearly found its way into the upper left-hand corner of the net. That did not miss by much from distance. That would have been a long-range goal for Cliffside Park to take back the lead. Confry was the one who once again was trying to put it in the back of the net. She has the lone goal in this game for Cliffside Park. As we are closing in on the final 5 minutes of the first half. Koretsky. Good dribbling up the field. Try to lead that pass, but it got denied entry in the top of the defensive zone. Barak plays it backwards. Ball loose in the top of the box. Here's a low-lining shot, and Leon makes the easy save to the left. Koretsky has built up some opportunities here, but I think she's got to put a little bit more speed and velocity on her shot, because Leon's reading it right now off her foot. Again, we have not seen the likes of Alexa Castro playing in this first half. Castro, dynamic scorer for Fort Lee. 84 goals in her career. She had a goal and assist in the first meeting against Cliffside Park, number 10. We've seen her sister Ansley in the first half at points, number 7. Stolen away, stepping forward. Fort Lee trying to get it out of their defensive zone. 3.5 minutes left to go here until halftime. Latte, fancy footwork. Trying to go long with that one. It's taken away again by Leon. After this one, Cliffside Park will head home for their next couple of matches. They'll host Woodridge on October 5th. They would love to secure a road win before starting that 3-game homestand. Latte tries to lead Koretsky to the near side. Ramos in hot pursuit. Koretsky has it. Tried to play it off to the near side. Fort Lee with the throw-in. Baric playing it to the near side. Chested down in front of their own goal. Cliffside Park quickly getting it out of their defensive end. Trying to link up top. Jacqueline Batres was the one who had touched it initially. Satouche knocked off the ball to the far side. She had a goal and assist against Fort Lee back on September 16th. More subs being made by Cliffside Park. Fresh legs coming on for the final 2 minutes of the first half. 1-1 game. Fort Lee has not been able to get more than a goal here in the first half. Cliffside Park, quite frankly, should have probably had at least more than one goal. They open up the scoring and take a 1-0 lead. Fort Lee answered. Richmond looking for their first lead just before halftime. Here's a breakout. Plenty of green to roam down the near side. But Fort Lee was unable to really contain themselves as trying to have that possession down the near side with no defender around. They couldn't keep it in the course of play. 80 seconds and counting left to go before the break. Free kick with under a minute now left to go before halftime. Latte steals back the pass. There's Ansley Castro in the midfield. Gets that exit pass knocked down. To Silva. Again, Fort Lee trying to launch that one in the back line, but got away from that striker up top in Koretsky. Allowed Leon to get to it. 25 seconds remaining in the first half. Long ball trying to split that back line. Fort Lee's got to be careful here. Doing a good job of shadowing right in front of that final striker. And that will most likely be the last real foray into the offensive end for both teams, as the ball will end in the midfield. And that'll end the first 40 minutes of play. One goal apiece between these two arch rivals as we head to halftime. Stick around as we'll be back for the start of the second half of play as you're watching Fort Lee girls soccer action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Sugarman Sports Complex as we're moments away for the resumption of play in the start of the second half. 1-1 your score in this big North American Division rivalry showdown between Cliffside Park and Fort Lee. Again, we'd like to thank our proud sponsors of Fort Lee Athletics, William T. Birch Children's Fund, the Sedona Tap House, Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and Collective Hair Salon. We are underway in the start of this second half. Fort Lee in the black and orange, Cliffside Park in the white and red. Cliffside Park jumped out to an early 1-0 lead in the first half. Fort Lee responded with a Lacey Barrick goal to tie this one and level the score at 1-1. Dan Long, Dimitri Nenes, Brandon Ortiz, so glad that he could join us here on this girls soccer broadcast. Fort Lee trying to go to 5-3 on the season. Cliffside Park looking for their third win of the year. Curling pass attempt by Cliffside Park, a little too wide, out of bounds it went. Off to the near side will be a resulting throw-in in the opening minute of this second half. Latte over to Ansley Castro on the far side. Fort Lee without the services of Ansley's sister Alexa here today. Latte taking it herself down the near side, tries to take the shot inside the box, but hooked it off and out of bounds to the near post side. Trying to see if she could maybe sneak one past Leon on the near post, but instead hooked it a little too strong. She's been very good in terms of the ball at her feet, trying to dribble around and through a couple of different defenders, and that time took a shot opportunity herself. Leon will leave it for her teammate, Madeline Estrada, to handle this goal kick. De Silva trying to garner the possession for Fort Lee, and said the ball went out the other way. Cliffside Park trying to race it down to the far side. Rhea Heinschad, the sophomore, cleared out to space. Park was trying to win the possession. Cliffside Park wins the ball at midfield with the defender falling down. Here come the Red Raiders in the open space. Here's the dangerous goal scorer from before. Empty net, try to tap in approach. But Cliffside Park just couldn't get to the receiving end of that. Now that leads to transition and numbers the other way for the Bridgemen. Trying to go a little too far, though, and finding Koretsky, with Ramos the only last defender. Confry was the one who was taking that last advance up the field for Cliffside Park, and she had a beautiful centering ball to a teammate, and if they had gotten underneath that one, it would have been an easy tap in goal. Good, dangerous defensive work there, deep in their own back line for Fort Lee. Goal kick upcoming here for Cliffside Park. Richmond looking for their first lead of the afternoon. Latte playing it backwards for Castro, Ansley Castro. Castro. Lofted pass to Barrick in the far side. That rolls out of play and will be a corner, so it's last touch off of the defense. A chance here for a set piece for Fort Lee as they start to load some players up into the scoring area. The liner right to Koretsky, turns and fires. It got deflected away first. Still the ball is dangerously in the box. Here's Koretsky taking a shot. That one rang off the post, and that slipped in, but is that going to be a goal? There was no sign yet in terms of if that's actually a goal or if that was offside. So they will count that as the official goal, and a tip-in goal there for Fort Lee. There is no definitive sign made by either of the officials. The players were running back to midfield, but didn't know if that was going to be offside or not. So Fort Lee, with the tap-in finish in front of the net, have now garnered their first lead of the afternoon at 2-1 with 35 and a half minutes left to go in regulation. Fort Lee put the pressure on from the set piece and the corner kick on the far side, had it pinball around in front of the net, and eventually, after the ball had hit off of the left post, it found its way to the feet. It looked like a Velate, who now has it herself, running coast to coast with it into the scoring area. Here she goes again, and drifting away from goal. That took a little something off it, but now Fort Lee has taken their first lead of the game. And again, we up here in the press box had no official designation of a goal. You had one official on the far side that kind of looked like it was even potentially going to be waved off with an offside. But eventually we got it all sorted out. It is a 2-1 advantage now for Fort Lee. And again, I believe that was Angelina Velate who had the goal. If it was officially her, that's her third goal of the season for the Bridgemen. Now Fort Lee trying to build upon that lead. They've scored the last two unanswered goals in this contest. Ruka Suzuki, the senior, tries to track it down and does to the far side. A little bit of a touch. Trying to free up Ansley Castro. Goes out of bounds, and now how does Cliffside Park respond after now they face their first deficit of the afternoon? Suzuki stepping up, still controlling possession at her feet. Her clearance pass was deflected. Fort Lee stepping up again to the back line. They have to be careful here. A couple of costly turnovers could have led to more goals in that first half. Cliffside Park trying to free the teammate of the far side, but offside was the call. A whistle, and that looks to be going against Fort Lee, the way that the official on the far side was motioning and pointing in the direction of Cliffside Park having possession. Right now the sign is handball. Now the official on the far side is motioning in the other direction. You don't want to be critical of the officials, but can we get going here, guys? Can we get on the same page? Now this is going to be a free kick for Fort Lee. So the handball was designated to be against Cliffside Park. Castro will restart it from the 40-yard line. Blast that one far and wide, but Leon got a piece of it. That goes off of her last and is going to lead to a corner. And after the last corner, Fort Lee took the lead after a tap-in goal in front. So a prime opportunity here, fans, for Fort Lee to expand their lead that currently resides at 2-1. Koretsky on that far post side. Got taken down, and is this going to be a penalty kick? Time will stop. 31:43 left to go in the second half. Koretsky was the one who was connected with at first. Then she got dropped down in the scoring area. She is still slow to get to her feet. As Koretsky will come off to the far side, it looks like, and have to be attended to by the training staff. And they'll have another opportunity here for Angelina Velate. She will be the one given the opportunity here at the penalty kick. Leon trying to make this still a one-goal deficit for her team. Latte takes the shot, and it is deflected eventually in for the goal. Leon had guessed correctly, but it had such velocity on it that after she made the save, it then caromed in off of her gloves and into the back of the net for the successful goal by Velate. Second goal of the second half for number 23 in black. And Fort Lee now with 3 unanswered goals this afternoon have taken their largest lead of the game at 2. 3-1 advantage for the Bridgemen. Still less than 10 minutes gone by here at the start of the second half. So after Koretsky drew the foul inside the scoring area, Velate was able to have enough velocity on that shot despite the save initially being made by Leon to trickle it off the goalie's glove and into the back of the net. As Kasahara coming out, trying to slide and get possession of that ball. So after Cliffside Park opened up the scoring and took a 1-0 lead, it's been 3 unanswered goals in this one by the home side. As Fort Lee once again trying to produce their 5th win of the season and trying to sweep both regular season matchups against Cliffside Park in the process. They lead 3-1 now. Latte being hounded by 2 different Cliffside Park defenders. Volante got that knocked off her foot to the near side. So, pair of goals here. Volante with 4 goals on the season. Last season, 2 goals, 6 assists. Off to the near side. Latte with a long ball down the other way. Tried to link up there with Eliza Adamaj, the freshman who's come into the game. Koretsky was being attended to by Tom Herr, the Fort Lee trainer on the far sideline. Throw in close to the corner flag now for the Bridgemen. And just a beautiful day for soccer here this afternoon. 74 degrees at kickoff. Out in front of the net, now Cliffside Park rolling it over to the far side. It's been all Fort Lee to start off this second half. It was 1-1 at the break. Fort Lee has raced out to a 3-1 lead with 2 goals within the first 10 minutes of the second half. Here's Barak. On the far side, Fort Lee curling ball right in front of the net. Still is loose out in front. Fanning the first time, that time was Shuki, and then her second attempt led to a quality shot opportunity that Miranda Leon made the save. A season ago, Fort Lee went 3-4 here at the Sugarman Sports Complex, winning their season finale against North Bergen. A win here this afternoon would give them 3 home wins already, the very beginning of October. Confry was stepping up and dispossessing Velate that time. Sent long to the far side. Or at least stepping up, laying it forward. Adamaj trying to track it down. Pair of freshmen going toe-to-toe that time as Ramos was defending, and subs are going to be made again by Coach Serbo of Cliffside Park. Goal kick on the horizon here for Cliffside Park. Again, they will head home for their next 3 contests. They will host Woodridge, Riverdale, and Leonia before they hit back onto the road on October 18th at Teaneck. Stolen away by Fort Lee. Long shot there, and that forced Leon to make a diving, sprawling save. You feel that maybe one more goal in this game would pretty much close the door for Fort Lee. They have a comfortable 2-goal margin right now, but a third goal in this second half might be too much to ask for Cliffside Park to come back against. Again, Fort Lee won 4-3 in the first meeting of the season. A little pushing and shoving, and the foul whistled against Fort Lee. Free kick upcoming now for Cliffside Park. Referees having some words with the coaching staff of Cliffside Park before they resume play. Ball loose in the box, and it's cleared out to the far side by Fort Lee. Good to see Koretsky back onto the field after she sustained that injury that elicited the penalty kick that was converted. Koretsky in one fell swoop, taking the shot a little too high and wide. It goes out for a goal kick. She drew the foul in the box, and that led to the PK conversion by Vellante. That gave Fort Lee their second goal of the second half, their third total goal in the game. Again, Fort Lee won the first meeting back on September 16th at Cliffside Park by a score of 4-3. They lead 3-1 in this one. Already with home wins in league play against Dumont and Ridgefield Park, and now trying to make Cliffside Park their third victim here at Sugarman Sports Complex. Stolen away, Ansley Castro. 3 goals, 2 assists on the season for Castro. Great to see her on the field after she had been injured in her first 2 years of eligibility at the high school level. Koretsky weaving her way down the field. Koretsky just stood up at the last minute before she could try a chip shot on target. Confry was doing a great job there of being that last defender to get in the way of Koretsky. Lucia Koretsky with 4 goals on the season, number 24 in black and orange for Fort Lee. That one is knocked out of play. Last touch off of Cliffside Park and Satouche, and that will lead to a goal kick for the Bridgemen. As we're moving closer and closer to the midway point of this second half of play, again, you're watching Fort Lee girls soccer action here in the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Fort Lee Athletics is brought to you by William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank. This opportunity parried away to the near side by Cliffside Park. We also like to thank the sponsors, Fort Lee Pizza and Collective Hair Salon. Castro was trying to win that one forward. Collision ensues. Kimberly Quintanilla, number 20, the senior, is on the field for the first time for Cliffside Park. Koretsky, nice move, kept it in bounds. That was blocked away with one hand by Leon. Ball is still loose in the top of the box. Again, Fort Lee looking for the knockout punch here. Leading 3-1, a fourth goal would be almost insurmountable the way that this game is played on. But if Cliffside Park can just keep this within striking distance, they know that another goal makes this a completely brand new game and makes this once again only a 1-goal deficit. Just over 22 minutes left to go in the second half. Castro plays it. Baric playing more in a defensive role right now, knowing that she's more valuable maybe there to preserving the lead than increasing it as a forward. Here's Vellante. She has just been dazzling here dribbling this entire game. Takes that shot from distance, but that's not going to beat Leon. Again, Fort Lee just has to make sure they don't fall victim to this idea of just taking any shot that presents itself. They have to get a little closer. Quality shots are the more important thing. Valeria Costa Meza, number 25. Playing a little in the back line now. Castro trying to get it to Koretsky to the far side, shielding off her defender. That allows her to turn and run. Koretsky gets bodied off the ball. Cliffside Park trying to find some running room. Confry now booting that one long down to the near side wing. Fort Lee doing a good job of getting a chip of it out of bounds to the near side to prevent Satouche that opportunity to maybe run underneath it and present a scoring opportunity for themselves. Mary Rivera, the one throwing this one back into the course of play. Castro in the open field. Trying to get it to Koretsky, who is still not turned around at that point. It'll still be in play. Koretsky getting a deflection on it. Rolls around to the far side. Elias was trying to get underneath that one on the far side for Cliffside Park. Past the midway point of the second half of play, Fort Lee had been tied at 1-1 at half, but the Bridgemen, if you're just joining us, have struck the back of the net twice, including the last one via the penalty kick by this student athlete, Angelina Vellante. She's looking for another one and does! She's got another one here in the second half. And that extends the lead now to 4-1. And again, I believe in that initial tip-in that gave Fort Lee the 2-1 lead, I believe it was her. I believe it was number 23. If so, she's got a second half hat trick here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Nice shot from distance. Angelina, if she doesn't have 3, she definitely has 2. She had 2 goals overall on the season coming into play today. And now Fort Lee has garnered a 4-1 advantage with under 20 minutes left to go in the second half. 4 unanswered goals in this game now for Fort Lee. So the Bridgemen responding after surrendering the first goal of the game. Once again, Kasahara loves going to that slide attempt whenever the ball is outside and just trying to track it down. Tries to slide to grab it. The only danger with that is if you don't grab it cleanly, then you've vacated your net. Here's Vellante along the near side. Again, Fort Lee playing without the services of their all-everything forward, Alexa Castro, in this game. Yet they still put up 4 goals on the board. Cliffside Park with the possession. Baric trying to chase it down. Cliffside Park, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 2 wins on the season, both of those by 1 goal margins. But when they've lost, it's been multi-goals throughout the course of the season. We see that continue here, and that's going to be an empty net finish for Fort Lee after it went through the wickets. And it led to the tap-in finish, it looks like, by Elda Shuki. So Shuki celebrates with her cohorts. 4 unanswered goals in this second half alone. Both teams had 1 goal apiece in the first half. Fort Lee has now really blown this game wide open at a 5-1 lead with 17:54 left to go in the second half. Shuki all smiles there. She was in a perfect position once there was a little difficulty to be handling that outside shot from the far side. She was right there to just simply tap that one home for her first goal of the year. Senior midfielder getting on the board in this rivalry showdown. That's got to feel extra sweet. Getting on the horizon for Fort Lee, they will travel to Dumont to take on the Huskies on October 9th, before then traveling to Bloomfield on October 12th. Ruka Suzuki, 2 assists on the season, number 17, getting it up top to Shuki. Played along to the far side. Cliffside Park lost 5-1 against Dwight Morrow in their last contest. Now facing a 5-1 deficit here. Under 17 minutes left to go in the second half. Castro. Baric. With the advance up the field to the far side, it got deflected. Out of bounds. Last touch off of the Bridgman. Big matchup will await Fort Lee later on this season on October 21st here at the Sugarman Sports Complex, as they will be taking on Dwight Morrow. Baric was knocked down there with that late challenge. Been a relatively cleanly played game here today against these two rivals. Not a lot of stoppages. Bark will have the free kick upcoming now after listening that whistle for the foul. Bark drives that one into the box, found Koretsky. It was loose in front momentarily. That one was delivered from deep, deflected in front by a defender right in front of her own goalie. It was Ramos who did a good job of defending. Ball's loose to the near side, played forward. Baric plays it back that time to Suzuki. Shuki was trying to get to it for Fort Lee, but instead it's taken away. Patres dispossessed. Up top to the midfield to Koretsky. Does a nice move to get past that initial defender. Now takes it for a run down the far side flank. Koretsky gets shouldered off the ball, but does still earn possession in a throw-in deep in the offensive third for Fort Lee. So it looks like Fort Lee is going to be on their way to winning a pair of meetings against Cliffside Park here in this year's regular season. Worked around to the near side. Latte. Rips that one to the near post as it curled, and Leon had to make the save. That was definitely on target. That would have been a fourth goal in the second half for number 23. What an afternoon for the junior. 3 goals, all coming here in the second half. Goes out of bounds for a goal kick. 13 minutes and counting left to go here in the second half of play. More subs being made here by Coach Serbo in Cliffside Park. Ashley Gutierrez, number 4, the junior, has come on to the field. Latte to the far side. Centering the ball. Castro trying to run underneath it, but Leon anticipates nicely, comes out to take back that possession after Castro was trying to cut right down the heart of the field. Again, nice move, weaving right down the middle of the field. Latte leaving off for a teammate to the near side. Trying to find an opening. That was Shayla Da Silva again, number 11, who was trying to find that opportunity to get a shot off of the near side. It just went out of bounds. Go out for the goal kick. That again will be handled by a defender for Cliffside Park. Fort Lee was fortunate early on in this game, back in the first half, even right before Cliffside Park staked themselves out to an early 1-0 lead. There are even more opportunities after that first goal was produced by the Red Raiders to take a multi-goal lead against Fort Lee. They'll just have to try to play with a little more confidence in the back end of the defensive line. That's what was leading to the problems early on in that first half when Cliffside Park went on a run where it was about for 10 minutes. They were dominating the Bridgman and eventually produced a goal in that 10-minute stretch. Long distance opportunity, and that is saved from distance by Kasahara, and then she pounces on the loose ball rebound. After a couple of different Cliffside Park players were trying to see if maybe they would have an opportunity at a tap-in rebound finish. Headed forward by Da Silva. The Latte. Nice move again. Getting around a couple of different defenders. She has it 1v2 in the box. Looks to chip it to the far side, but nobody was lurking on the other end of that pass. But again, individual skill on full display throughout the course of this game for number 23 in black and orange. She has been gassed, and rightfully so. She has been running a lot here this afternoon. Up and down the field, taking it from the defensive end all the way coast to coast into the offensive side. As we are closing in on under now 9 minutes left to go here in regulation. Baric up top. She gives it a ride from deep, but not on frame, as that'll go out of bounds for a goal kick. Played forward by Koretsky. Costa Meza was the one who had the initial touch right around midfield, trying to play it forward from her defensive end. Nice team ball there with a couple of linked passes together, freeing the Bridgemen out of their own defensive end. Castro going wide, avoiding the contact. Still with possession. Castro might be thinking about giving it a go here. Rolled it forward, tried to recollect it. Here's Castro fighting and clawing for possession inside the box. Tries to go through a couple of bodies. Hard work, good work rate that time by number 7, Ansley Castro. That'll earn Fort Lee a throw-in on the far side of the field with 7.5 minutes left to go before the end of regulation. It was 1-1 at the half. Fort Lee exploded for 4 second-half goals as they're cruising their way to their 5th win of the season. Cliffside Park's going to be hoping that going back home is going to be the medicine that they need to get back in the win category. Home games awaiting them against Woodridge, Riverdale, and Leonia before they travel to Teaneck, back home against Ridgefield Park, and they will end their regular season at the end of October on the road at Dumont, at Bergen Tech, and at Bergenfield. Baric, a couple of players, Fort Lee just left the ball behind. They were almost trying to vacate the space, maybe thinking that Lacey was going to come up and take the shot herself. She's been unselfish as usual here today. Bridgman with the centering ball knocked down on the far side by Ramos. Dangerous pass there, playing it right back in front of their own net. Baric stepping up as the last line of defense. Baric from deep, bobbled initially by Leon, and trying to poach in a potential 6th goal was De Silva. She was waiting to see if maybe it would carry him out enough to her that she could get an opportunity 1v1 against the goalie. Out of bounds to the near side will be a resulting throw-in as we're closing in on the final 5 minutes of this second half. Again, we'd like to thank our proud sponsors that help bring these different broadcasts to you fans wherever you may be, live or on demand, anytime, for free. These are the sponsors that help us to be able to do these streaming broadcasts as that shot goes well wide to the far side. I'd like to thank William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, the Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and the Collective Hair Salon. I'd like to, as always, thank the great work done by our broadcast crew, our producer, Dimitri Nanis, camera operator, Brandon Ortiz here today. He's high atop the press box. We're inside the press box. I'm Dan Long. Always fun to be part of this rivalry, no matter the sport. When Fort Lee and Cliffside Park lock horns, it's always a fun affair that has a little more something to it as it goes out of bounds to the far side. Approaching 3.5 minutes left to go in the second half. Again, most of the work done here in the second half has been done in the early vestiges of this second half offensively by the Bridgemen. Again, they scored a pair of goals within the first 10 minutes of the second stanza, and that staked them out to a lead that they have not looked back from. They have added some insurance goals as well to tack on to that advantage here in the second half after it was a 1-1 game at halftime after the first 40 minutes of play. Again, in the course of this game, 5 unanswered goals in a row scored and produced by Fort Lee after it was actually Cliffside Park who raced out to an early 1-0 lead. That is a beautiful ball down the field to Koretsky. Gets underneath it. Koretsky takes the shot. And again, I think for her, one of the things that I would suggest, and certainly she's a much better soccer player than I ever was, try to get a little closer. She's had that ability to get a step on her defender, and I think by uncorking a shot a little closer, we'll have definitely more accuracy on the other end of that one. But Koretsky, the senior, who last year 3 goals, 2 assists, already has surpassed that goal total this year. She has been a legitimate scoring option and weapon in the lineup for Coach Pagano here today. She has been all over the field, and again, she drew the penalty in the box that led to the conversion and a penalty kick for Fort Lee. Here she is here, flicking that one forward. Castro trying to head it down. As Fort Lee's looking for more. If this stands right now, they'd be level in terms of goal differential on the season. They came into this game scoring 20 goals and allowing 25. Well, they would be 1 goal under the goal differential after being 5 goals under starting off play today. And a season ago, they scored 61 goals and allowed 61 goals. So it's kind of like where they were a season ago when they went 7-8. They have 25 goals on the season right now, while surrendering 26 total goals to opponents. They lost by 5 in their last game, 5-0 against Fairlawn. They lost by 5 against Riverdale earlier this season, 7-2. With under a minute now left to go here in regulation. The Bridgman taking care of business here at home at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Great response after giving up the first goal of the game. Fort Lee has been exceptional and led by the likes of Angelina Velate. She was the woman of the match here in this one today. 3 goals in the second half, including a successfully converted penalty kick. 25 seconds left to go here in the second half of play. Fort Lee about to go to 5-3 on the season. Cliffside Park will fall to 2-8 so far this fall. Under 10 seconds left to go. Barak maybe one last chance on Cage, and she gets the shot on target. Another save by Miranda Leon. And that'll do it. A final score of Fort Lee 5, Cliffside Park 1. As the Bridgmen, as the song states, taking care of business as they pick up their 5th win of the year. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another edition of Fort Lee Girls Soccer here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. For Dimitri Nanis and Brandon Ortiz, I'm Dan Long saying so long, and we'll see you next time here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Take care, everybody.